Now today I'm talking to a Mr. Richard Foister. People may think, who's he? Or you may have seen him, I don't know. But Richard has come along from Ashton KCJ, which is a solicitors company, which we all know about, that we've seen in Felixstowe. It's the company that opposite Lloyds Bank that have a wonderful window, which is what brought Richard to us, because Felixstowe TV, you may have seen our display we've had in the window, and also Felixstowe Radio. So we've got a lot to thank them for, and I know a lot of other charities have as well, for the promotion that they allow us to have in that window, which is what brought us together. But firstly, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Just to touch on really first, the actual company. I know I've explained where it is. I know people will see that window, so people know who you are, but you're quite a big company which people don't know about, and you've merged with another company that we'll have heard of.
That's right.
Can you explain?
Yeah, many of your viewers may not actually have heard of Ashton KCJ, but if they live in Felixstowe, they may have heard of Ashton Graham instead.
Right.
And Ashton KCJ is a result of a merger 18 months ago between Ashton Graham, who had offices in Felixstowe, Ipswich and Bury St Edmunds,
right,
and Kester Cunningham John Solicitors, who had offices in Norwich, Cambridge, Thetford and Bury St Edmunds.
So now you've sort of widened out.
That's right. We're now merged, and so we're now Ashton KCJ, and we remain in all of those locations. So from Ashton Graham's point of view, we're now geographically wider spread, in that we're now in Norfolk and Cambridgeshire,
right,
as well as Suffolk.
Right.
And it seemed a very good match for us, and it's working very well. But it's pretty much the same people in the Felixstowe office as before merger.
So it's still quite nice, although you have got all these now everywhere. The Felixstowe office is still quite nice, little local.
Yeah, it is.
And friendly.
It's the same people, and I like to think we're very friendly. Yeah. And some of your viewers will know pretty well some of the people we've got in the Felixstowe office.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it is obviously now a large company. You've got a lot of different. So I assume you vary on what you cover. You cover nearly all aspects of law.
Yeah. These days, solicitors tend to specialise in just one subject, individual solicitors.
Individual solicitors.
And we tend to cover all of the main high street specialities that you'd expect, such as conveyancing and wills and probate and family law and personal injury law, and commercial law. There's a number of other ones as well. But following the merger, we also specialise in other areas that are not so common in the high street, such as we have a French legal services team,
right,
which help people if they're buying or selling properties in France.
I see. I was going to ask you what that was.
Yeah, there's more people than perhaps you might think that are thinking of or have a property in France, and they need specialist help. So we've actually got French lawyers in our team now, and French secretaries or bilingual secretaries who will help them
with the communication part.
Yeah, and they can help with all of the questions that they might have about, what tax implications do I have, and how do I go about doing it? Do I need to instruct a French lawyer? And so that's proven to be really helpful. And we also now have specialisms in other areas like franchise law and medical injury cases and farming law, which are perhaps less common for high street firms.
They are, yeah, but you've already got those people in there,
yeah.
So right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we did touch on that, and I know we've touched on a lot. Sharon Pearson's with you, who does conveyancing, because a lot of people will know her. You yourself specialise in
injury law.
Injury law. And it's catastrophic injury, isn't it? You were telling me.
These days, I just do catastrophic injury work. So.
I think that could be quite hard.
It is
hard.
Some
of the cases that you have to deal with.
But it's satisfying from an emotional and intellectual point of view, because you're helping people that really need you. So most of my clients have suffered brain injury in some awful accident somewhere, and many of them need round-the-clock care. They'll never work again.
Which is expensive.
It's very expensive, and so they need a lawyer to help them to bring a case so they can hopefully make it easier for their families, who otherwise would have to provide all the care by themselves in what's already a pretty difficult time for them. So I can help them to bring a case against an insurer so that proper professional care can be provided, and so that other help can be given, private medical treatment can be given, and so that loss of earnings can be recovered, because many of my clients will never work again. So it's a difficult emotional time,
yes.
but financially it's a nightmare unless they get proper help. So it is hard, because you're dealing with people who are pretty distraught and who have had their lives turned upside down, but it's also very satisfying helping them and to getting a good result for them.
Yeah, knowing that you can't make that person better, but you can make the quality of their life better.
That's exactly what I'm trying to achieve.
So that's what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I also these days tend to help a lot of people who have developed mesothelioma, which is a horrendous life-terminating illness, which comes on 30 or 40 years after they've been exposed to asbestos.
Right.
And you don't know you've got it, and suddenly you've got it, and then it's a very painful, relatively quick death, and it's just horrific for them and for their family. And that's difficult cases to bring, but unfortunately we're seeing a lot more of those cases, because in the 1960s and 1970s a lot of people were exposed to asbestos.
Well, they didn't understand
it so well. They didn't understand how dangerous it was, and so a lot of people developing it, and so it's a pretty nasty thing to get. But again, they need help, and they need help from a specialist, and they need help urgently. So
I've met a lot of those people as well. If you said it is a life-terminating illness, the concerns they've got is people they're going to leave behind.
Exactly. They want to set up people. They want to set up their family for life as best they can,
which they deserve to be able to do, because it's
exactly.
It's not their fault, is it? Exposed to such a thing.
No, that's right.
I mean, you talk about your office as a solicitor. How long have actually you been in law?
I've been in law. I went straight from university into law, and I've been at the same company now for my entire career. So I've only ever known the one company, which I think is a good sign that
you've been able to stick with
us well, and that we're a good company that treats its employees well. And I've always been happy there. And
have you always been based in Felixstowe?
Ever since I was a trainee, yeah.
Wow, so that's quite.
I'm now the only partner in the Felixstowe office, because it's a relatively small office, but we have a number of solicitors come to our office whenever there's a need for their speciality from the local Felixstowe people. So
you can bring people in from your other offices. So if someone comes in and there's not someone actually based there, you can always bring them in.
Yeah, we realise that people don't really want to travel to Thetford or Norwich to see a solicitor. So if we take the initial information and we find that they need a solicitor of a different speciality who doesn't physically work in Felixstowe, then we set up an appointment and they'll come to the Felixstowe office.
Excellent. So you've got the bonus there of having a local office that's friendly, and that they can also help getting anybody in.
That's the plan.
And we were talking about people that actually want to get into law, be a solicitor, and I think Ashton KCJ have got an absolutely wonderful policy that you're going to tell us about, which I'm really impressed, because I myself was under the impression that you would have to go to university and get law degrees before you could even contemplate. But that's not how you do things.
No. Well, I think we're quite unusual in a law firm in that we believe, and I particularly individually believe strongly, that people can be bright and people can make it in a law firm. Doesn't matter what their qualifications are. They don't have to have a law degree. They don't even have to have a degree to make it, because there's plenty of people out there with A-levels that have got all the ability in the world, but for whatever reason have decided that they don't want to go to university, they can't afford it, they don't want to take the risk.
Yes.
And so one of the things I'm quite proud of in the Felixstowe office is that I have 10 trainees who come straight from school with A-levels.
With A-levels, so that's coming straight from school at 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who I train up and who I pay for training and pay for further education. So they do what's called FILEX, which is the Institute of Legal Executives.
Right.
So they work for us in the daytime, and then we pay for them to study in their own time, in the evenings and weekends.
Right.
And gradually they get more and more qualified, and those that are successful and those that prove to me that they are good and that they're bright and that they can work hard.
So they show you in the workplace.
Yeah. Then we tend to promote them, and then they get promoted into other departments of the firm. And within a few years, no one knows or cares whether they came through university or not. We just know that they're good and that they're dedicated and they're bright. And we've got some really brilliant people in the firm who are now in their 30s and 40s, who started in Felixstowe as a nervous 18-year-old school leaver.
And you've seen them come all the way up.
Yeah, and I really believe in that. And I think that it's better to watch someone at work and see how good they are, rather than have someone who might be very brainy, who's got a great degree, who can tell you all sorts of things about how good they are at interview, and then are fairly hopeless. Whereas I far prefer to give everyone an opportunity who's seems to have talent,
to show
me whether they've got the ability, show me whether they've got the attitude and the work ethic, and show me what they've got. And that way is a far better indicator of whether someone can make it in a law firm, in my view, than necessarily having an hour interview with someone that's got everything ticked on the CV.
Of course,
doesn't have the right attitude.
And you don't know them as a person.
Know what they're like. We don't know whether they're team players or not.
Right.
So it's worked really well for the firm, and I'm really proud of the fact that we've brought through so many people from school leavers to be promoted within the firm, and who are now hugely successful. And I think it's a great way of bringing people through.
And you're actually recruiting at the moment, which I know people must be sitting out there thinking, and you are looking for 2 people.
We're looking for 2 school leavers, so I know that A-levels are happening as we speak.
They are, yeah.
So we're looking for 2 people to start with us as soon as possible after they finish their A-levels in that team in my Felixstowe office, where they start off working with road traffic accident victims, but we pay for their education to learn all of the different topics in law.
Right.
And then the idea...
So could they do a certain amount of training and then choose which area of law to go into?
Well, they can choose which areas of law to study as part of their further education. And then if they prove themselves to be good in my department for over a period of time, then they can put themselves forward for promotion in a number of different departments. And the reason that we've got opportunities now is that 2 people have just been promoted within our department. One of them into the Wills and Probate department, and one of them into the Court of Protection department. And so, there's lots of opportunities.
They've been with you since they were 18?
And they've been with us since, they've been 18.
Right.
So now we've got more opportunities, and one of the reasons I was pleased to have this opportunity to talk to you today is that if there's anybody watching that might be interested in that, or who've got children who are coming through A-levels at the moment who they think might be interested, then I'd be very interested to hear from them, because that's the way that I like to promote people within the firm.
Right. And they can get in touch with the Felixstowe branch,
they can get in touch with the Felixstowe branch by email, or get onto our website, or they can phone me individually if they want to, and they can mention Felixstowe TV.
Right.
I'll be very pleased to hear from them, because we've just started the recruitment process now.
Well, I hope you do. I mean, it's a wonderful opportunity.
I think so.
And that's an opportunity that I've never heard of before personally, to be getting that way. So, let's hope. If anybody does struggle, obviously, anybody can ring here as well, and we'll put you in touch. That's not a problem. Yeah. I mean, that's wonderful. And I mean, the work you do then shows how much you actually do for Felixstowe, because not only do you bring the youngsters through like that, you supply the window, which we just mentioned, which we've had, which we were really grateful of, to get your name out there, and you supply that to any non-profit making organisation.
Basically to local charities, non-profit making organisations, local theatre groups, anybody that's basically working in Felixstowe that's trying to promote what they're doing. We're not really interested in giving that window to profit-making businesses, because they've got other ways and they've got funding methods of doing it. But we know it's so difficult for charities such as yourselves to find the funding to pay for advertising. But it's quite, for those of you that don't know, it's quite a prominent window on the corner opposite Lloyd's TSB, in the bank corner as it's known, on Orwell Road and Hamilton Road.
Yes.
And we basically let charities have it for a week at a time. And it gets heavily booked. I think we're booked up for about the next 18 months or something.
Right.
But if there's any people that run charities that would like us to publicise their charity, then it's just, for us, it's just a small part of us kind of helping out the community that we work within. And we're very proud to work in Felixstowe, and a lot of our business comes from Felixstowe people, so we want to put something, however small, back in by allowing people to advertise in our window. And a lot of people do say, they stop and read it, and I see it myself.
I mean, I see a lot of people standing there, having a look. It's always interesting to see who's got it next, isn't it?
Exactly.
So it's getting quite a little name for itself,
it
actually.
Is. People kind of try to book it, and they're astonished at how far ahead they have to book it. But I think people try and tactically do it, so they've got a church fete coming up or something in October, they'll try and book it for the week before or something. Okay. So we try and help where we can.
Yeah, I know we were delighted, and Dawn worked really hard on getting that, so well done to her. We were also talking about now, a lot of people out there that may have, well, I don't know, a different reason, probably not conveyancing so much because we all know and expect what that's going to cost. But a lot of people with different things, maybe the area you specialise in, injuries, etc., or family law, are nervous to come into a solicitors because of the cost.
Sure.
And the legal aid system now is such a mess that a lot of companies are steering away from it.
Yeah.
So if someone needed to speak to you, you were telling me, could they come in for an initial short consultation?
Yeah. Basically, we realised that people are pretty afraid of solicitors because once the case gets going, then our fees can be pretty significant.
Yes, yeah.
For the work that I do, the injury catastrophic work, then for many years now I've always offered a free appointment.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how long that appointment lasts, it can take an hour and a half for me to get to the bottom of what's happened.
Of course, because it could be quite detailed.
It can be quite complicated.
Yes.
I have to ask a number of questions. So I can offer that free appointment. And if they've been badly hurt, they're not going to be able to make it to my office, so I'll go and see them in their home or hospital or whatever it is that their family want me to see them. And the free appointment is basically offered for most areas of law as well within the firm.
Okay.
Most of my colleagues only can offer a 20-minute free appointment.
Right.
But they try and help just to,
Well, I suppose it's just get the basics.
Exactly.
Someone to come in and say, this is the basics. Yeah. Is it worth me?
Have they got a good case? Yeah. If so, how's the best way of doing it and how much is it likely to cost?
Right.
And then with that information, they can make a decision about whether they want to bring a case and whether they like the person that they've met and whether they want to trust us with their case or whether they're going to go to someone else or whatever. But it gives us the opportunity to give them some basic information and to explain some of the legalities, because it might be that in just 20 minutes we can say, look, we think you'd be throwing your money away about doing this case.
Okay.
We don't recommend it, we'll do it for you if you want. But our job is
and
to tell them.
you're quite happy to say that.
There's no point us saying to someone, well, yeah, it will cost you £5,000 to bring a case and you should do it if we know that they're going to lose, because that's not really helping them. We want to be able to tell them what's best for them, even if they don't necessarily want to hear it.
Yes.
So we can do that.
That's your job.
And that's our job. And sometimes they don't like what we say to them, but we have to advise them.
Yes.
So that's what we can do. But yeah, we can offer those appointments, and then if you like what we have to say or you want us to take things further, then you can at least understand how much it will cost.
And go away with an idea and have a think about it. Yeah,
exactly.
And obviously to make sure that you both get on, because it's important. I know from previous experience for me that you actually feel that you can trust that person, because obviously they're dealing with things in people's lives that are quite...
And we know there's other solicitors out there, and there's plenty of competition. So, we hope that if people meet us, then they might think they seem all right and they seem to know what they're doing. So actually, we will trust our business with them.
Yeah, and you've got a very prominent and easy place as well there, which is going to be helpful to
we've got disabled access, we've got parking just around the corner, we've got ground floor interview room for those that are not able to go upstairs, etc. And as I say, we can bring in help from other colleagues and other specialities from other firms across the region, from other offices across the region.
From other offices. So if somebody had their 20-minute sort of short appointment, you could say to them, well, I personally can't help you, but we have got someone in. And
then we can do a note of what we discussed to our colleague, and then they don't have to start from scratch.
Right, okay. And
there's also a lot of overlap. I mean, in my work, if I'm about to bring in huge figure of compensation to help a family, then they also need to be advised about how to invest it, and we have people in the firm that can help them with that. They should be advised to make a will. They might be advised to set up a trust so that so that their means-tested benefits are not affected. There's a whole load of. They might be advised to all sorts of different things to buy a different house. So there's a lot of overlap. And what's great about working for a firm of my size is that I've always got a colleague that can help with the overlap. So they don't have to go to a different firm, and they can get someone to come into the same office where they're familiar. So it works quite well. They feel happy
there. Yeah. Right, so you can do really that. I mean, that's really interesting, because you can do that from the start to the end, because I suppose if people are getting this huge sum of compensation, they've got to know
they need to make
where
it last,
to go with
because
it.
It's designed to help their future care and future earnings for the rest of their life. So if they don't understand...
just leaving them with a lump sum and saying that's my job done.
Well, most of us wouldn't know how to make that money last. We need investment advice. And, we can offer that, which is, I think, pretty important to certainly my clients.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, I can see there that you obviously care for people from the beginning to the end, which I think is really, really important. It's a Felixstowe company, like we've explained, that have merged. So we've got all that specialist help out there, and you're still based there.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, it sounds great. We thank you again. I just want to say thank you again for the help with the window.
It's a pleasure. Exactly what we hope it can achieve. You've
Yeah, it did help us. So thank you for coming along as well. If anybody does want to get in touch, obviously you know where they are again. We're going to put all the contact details on the website when the interview goes up, as we always do. Also remember the recruitment, which is a fantastic opportunity in Felixstowe. That details will go up as well, how to get hold of Richard as well on there. So we hope it's been helpful. Thank you for watching and take care.
Thank you.